The Birds of Magyar are one of Ukraine's deadliest drone units, growing rapidly from a platoon in 2022 to a full regiment by the end of 2024. They hit more than 5,000 targets in March. Behind the grand spectacle of exploding Russian tanks are interesting data points about how drone warfare is conducted and what weapons are actually causing damage, writes Forbes. The kill data provided by drone units is reportedly carefully checked because it affects the point system that determines how many new drones a unit will receive in the next month. In general, such data is considered reliable, the media writes. Particularly interesting are the differences between the showy FPV drones and the rarely seen Baba Yaga night bombers. These heavy drones carry more powerful weapons, but their attacks are less impressive. Usually, there is only a flash on the thermal imager, with no clarity on what the target was or how badly it was damaged. According to Birds of Magyar, they used 7,874 FPV drones this month, accounting for 67% of all attacks. They also reported 3,582 heavy bomber sorties, accounting for about 31% of attacks. These drones typically carry heavier payloads than FPVs. The report says the remaining 2% of attacks were likely carried out by Mavic-type drones carrying bombs. Of the 5,334 targets hit, 1,848 or 35% were recorded as destroyed out of a total of 11,601 sorties. A primitive calculation gives an average figure of 2.2 sorties per target hit and 7.1 per complete destruction. However, these data are relative since target can mean either one soldier or an entire bunker. Journalists note, in March, the Birds of Magyar hit 274 armoured vehicles, 69 artillery pieces, 569 unarmoured vehicles, 149 motorcycles and less visible but important targets such as 174 antennas, radars and drones that can be disabled by precision strikes, disrupting enemy communications and reconnaissance. It is interesting to compare the statistics of the Birds of Magyar with the general data for Ukraine. In March and April, this unit provided 6 to 10% of the total number of destroyed tanks and armoured vehicles, but only 1 to 2% of the destroyed artillery. The Ukrainian armed forces generally claim to have destroyed more artillery than armoured vehicles, but the Birds of Magyar, it is the opposite. This is surprising, given that they have worked out the tactics of destroying artillery. An FPV drone slowly flies up and explodes right in the barrel of a gun. This is often shown in their videos, the article says. This may indicate that the destruction of the artillery is attributed to other units, perhaps operating on other parts of the front where such equipment is more common. It is also possible that other units with special equipment are responsible for this. Finally, a comparison with previous months shows how quickly the unit's effectiveness is growing. In March 2024, they hit 293 targets. By December, they had hit 2,966, and now they have hit over 5,000. This reflects both the growth of the unit itself and the fact that as the supply of drones increases, so does the number of successful strikes. North Korean troops may be involved in the Russian offensive in the Kharkiv and Sumy regions. This was stated by Andrei Cherniak, a representative of the main intelligence directorate of the Ministry of Defense of Ukraine, in an interview with NHK. He added that the North Korean army has already lost 5,000 of its soldiers in the war against Ukraine. Currently, another 6,000 of these soldiers are in the Kursk region and continue to fight. Cherniak also noted that the DPRK troops are developing as they have improved their training and changed tactics. According to him, if earlier the North Koreans attacked on a large scale and became targets for Ukrainian artillery and UAVs, now they are moving in groups of 1 or 2. The GUR representative emphasized that the language barrier with the Russian occupiers, which was expected to prevent the DPRK military from conducting military operations, did not affect them, since they only received assignments and then went on assaults without communicating with the Russians. At the same time, the Wall Street Journal wrote that North Korean soldiers had become the most dangerous opponents on the front for the Ukrainians. The North Koreans quickly adapted to the front, according to military analysts, soldiers who fought them, and documents seized from the troops by the Ukrainians. Also, former Pentagon consultant Reuben F. Johnson said that the DPRK suffered 50% casualties in the war in Ukraine. After a significant number of these troops were killed, the Kim Jong-un regime sent a limited number of additional troops as replacements. Recently, North Korea sent at least 3,000 more soldiers to Russia earlier this year, South Korea's military said, demonstrating Pyongyang's continued support for Moscow's war on Ukraine as world leaders push for an end to the 3-year conflict. The news came as Russia's Deputy Foreign Minister, Andrei Rudenko, said a visit by North Korean leader Kim Jong-un to Russia is being prepared, according to state media TASS. The reinforcements sent in January and February add to the roughly 11,000 troops North Korea has sent to Russia so far. South Korea's Joint Chiefs of Staff said about 4,000 of them have been killed or injured in combat, according to Seoul. Pyongyang has also sent a significant amount of short-range ballistic missiles and about 220 pieces of 170mm self-propelled howitzers and 240mm multiple rocket launchers, South Korea said. It said the North's contribution are expected to increase according to the situation.
Ukrainian Air Force has destroyed a pontoon crossing in Russia's border Kursk region. The strike was delivered by Su-27 fighter aircraft with GBU-39 bomb delivered to Ukraine as part of military aid from the United States. A video posted by Ukrainian military on Telegram app shows the moment of the strike. The pontoon crossing is used for transportation of military hardware and supplies. This was the second pontoon crossing struck by Ukrainian troops in this area. Another such crossing was located nearby and was hit in a Ukrainian strike. The attack was followed by a HIMARS multiple launcher strike. Ukraine launched surprise incursion into Russia's Kursk region in August last year and resumed its attack in March.